Comment as promised. This is the opportunity for any member of the public to come up and comment on any item that relates to our agenda today. Come on forward. You can take a seat at one of the microphones. We do ask you to limit your testimony, be as brief as possible. We've been meeting since 10 o'clock and there will be other opportunities. If there's any other member of the public that wishes to speak, you can come up and take a seat right now. And if you would please start with your name.
Good afternoon. My name is Brenda Reed. I'm a homeowner from Oakland, California. I'm the face of foreclosure. I'm a 66-year-old Vietnam War widow. My lender was Washington Mutual Bank, FA, a bank that had ceased to exist 2.5 years prior to the date the loan was made. Washington Mutual Bank, FA was not part of the purchase and assumption agreement that Chase made for Washington Mutual. I'm here to tell you that everything that came out of Mrs. Mudick's mouth today was untruth and is an antithesis of my experience in dealing with JPMorgan Chase. I walked into the doors of Chase in July of 2009 after receiving a notice of default. And by the way, they hadn't tried to work with me, they hadn't tried to contact me, they had done nothing. I had heard horror stories over and over again about Chase, so I went to the Homeownership Center and I presented a full, complete package for a modification. And I gave it to the counselor at Chase who faxed it to the appropriate powers that be. Through Nancy Skinner's help, I was able to get a trial modification that was supposed to be 3 months. The modification went on for 5 months, and the last 2 months of the modification, the Chase representative kept saying to me, "Your paperwork's coming down, you're going to get a permanent modification." She said it to me over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. During those 5 months, every document that they requested, I provided to them. Again and again and again. I had them sign for the documents at the Chase Homeownership Center in Oakland. And again and again and again and again, I got threatening letters from Chase that my trial modification was at risk because I wasn't cooperating. I don't know what more I could have done. I just simply do not know what more I could have done to cooperate with them. They lied to me, they misled me in every way that you can imagine. So after 5 months, you begin to have a personal relationship with this person at the Homeownership Center. So she knew that February 1st was approaching and it was an important day for me and for my family. It was the anniversary of the day that my husband was killed in action and saved the lives of 130 brave Americans who served under his command. She knew that was the anniversary date, yet she knowingly picked up the phone and called me on that day and said to me, "Oh, I know what today is for you." How could she know what it was for me to lose my husband and to know, like the way she's starting out the call, it's only going to be bad news. So she said, "Well, we've turned you down for the permanent modification and ha-ha, we're going to foreclose on you." She laughed. She thought it was funny. I said, "You know what today is for me, and yet you have known." I had asked her, "How long have you known that you were turning me down?" She said, 2 weeks. "So why did you intentionally wait until this very important day for me and my family to inject this bad piece of news on that day?" It was a disrespect to me, a disrespect to my husband, a disrespect to my family. I requested a meeting with the manager of the Homeownership Center and this woman, and my son, my adult son, went with me and a friend, and they proceeded to talk about me as if I was the lowest, most despicable human being on the planet in front of my friend and my son. Again, another act of unnecessary cruelty. So I am not one to take things sitting down. I am the descendant of 12 brave men who served in the American Revolution. I'm not going to step down from a fight. So I have fought tooth and nail to save my home. I have a 50-page timeline of the numbers of conversations and phone calls and letters and correspondence submitted to this bank. When they say, oh, you've got one person, oh, let me tell you, I have over 100 people that I have talked to. Many of them who were from foreign call centers, whom I could not understand. And always they were surly and unkind and laughed. At the highest levels of the bank, I have been lied to. I was even told by one of the representatives in the executive office at Chase in Columbus, Ohio, that I was not in fact a war widow. And I sent my husband's death certificate to prove that I was. So here we are today, and I have had to declare bankruptcy, which it was one of the most humiliating experiences of my life. I have begged, I have pleaded, I have lost face with my family and my community, all because of the lies and the lies and the lies and the fraud from the day the loan was made. And ladies and gentlemen, you have lost sight of the fact that these bankers who were sitting here at this table made those predatory loans. And you have also not taken into account the fact that the banks are still committing their bad acts. JPMorgan Chase Bank is continuing their bad acts and have sustained a $2.2 billion loss, which, by the way, I own 3 shares of this bank so I can find out what's going on, and it could go as high as $4 billion. They are too big to fail, and they're too big to manage, and whatever they say they were going to do here today, don't believe it. Because the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing in Chase Bank. They do not. So in order, I just want to finish, please. I'm on a roll here.
Yes, you are. By the way, we have not lost sight of the things that you just mentioned. But
and so the end result of this is that the only recourse that I have is to file a private lawsuit, which I have done 3 weeks ago, and I now have a temporary restraining order. But if I have to tender, I will have no judicial recourse. There will be nothing for me but to be kicked to the curb. And every one of the pension checks that I get from the Veterans Administration goes to pay my legal bills. Every last one of them. This is not what my husband died for. This is not what he wanted for me. It's not what I want for myself. And you cannot believe these people. You cannot believe them. They lie, and they lie, and they lie, and they lie, and they lie. And they lied to you today. At least one woman I know lied to you today because I heard it with my own ears and I know my own experience. And forgive me for being emotional. It's just, it sickens me what I heard here today. And it sickens me to think that they are spending thousands and thousands of dollars in this political process to keep people like me from having a fair shake, an even playing field. Thank you.
We appreciate your comments, and your emotion is completely understandable. I also want to extend our sympathies and our thanks for your sacrifice.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.